Well, welcome back, folks. Today we're going to do a little shop talk on an alternative to using the seal in here on this exhaust system. This is off the Kawasaki F6125. Obviously this is the silencer muffler, and this is the exhaust manifold block. This part right here on the right goes up into the cylinder, and the part on the left that's got this groove in it fits over the exhaust system like that. Originally, the seal that fits down into this groove here was an asbestos coated piece of string, and they're no longer available from Kawasaki, and in fact several of the manufacturers use this approach. Kawasaki wasn't the only one. I know Yamaha used a similar piece of string. I don't know if Suzuki did. I don't believe I've encountered it on Suzuki's, but I have on Yamaha and Kawasaki's. No longer available. Probably not a good idea to be messing around with asbestos anyway. I believe Yamaha moved to a different material in later years. Very common approach to seal this, used on the Enduros, single cylinder bikes such as this F6. You can still find those strings on eBay. They're around $9, $10, $11 US. But I'm going to show you today an alternative using that asbestos coated string. And that alternative is using a high temp silicone. You can see right here. And notice it is high temperature. Now, I don't use a lot of silicone, frankly. I'm not a huge fan of the product. In general, I think it's overused. It does have its place if used judiciously, but I've opened up a lot of engines and worked on a lot of bikes that had various colors of silicone slathered all over everything, and it's difficult to get off when it's cured. And in fact, this tube, which I probably have had 20 years, 15, 20 years, you can see about how much I've used in that period of time. But one of the things that I do use it for is sealing up this ring. Now, I don't just spread wet silicone in here and push things together and go on with my project. I take a little bit different approach. And what I do is I've run 3 lines here of the silicone, the RTV, on this piece of wax paper, and you can see I've done 3 lines here just to give you a sense of what it looks like, and then I let it cure overnight or so. And then what I'll do is I'll cut this, I'll insert it into the groove, and then I'll cut it to size and poke it down in, and that will act as a replacement seal for the asbestos string. And you can see I've done, or attempted to do, 3 different widths. I don't know how well you can see that there. 3 different widths of silicone, and the reason I did that is try to find the one that fits the best in this particular project. Now, the reason I don't just smear it in here wet and then put it together is if you ever have to take it apart, you're going to have to dig all that silicone out of there, and that can be a pain. It's very, it's an adhesive basically, it's very tacky. So by running a line like this and letting it cure, it creates a string. And to use it, we just start poking it into that groove, and then when we get around to the end, cutting it off. Now, I don't know the exact diameter of the original string, but it's probably something similar to the width of that groove, which I believe I measured at around 3 millimeters or so. But this couldn't be easier to use. Once it's good and cured, I just cut it off, and then it really doesn't make any difference where you start or how you start. I usually put the flat side because obviously from sitting on the wax paper, one side will be flat and the other side will be the radius. That's the part that fits up. I usually put the flat side out or facing me like that, and you just work your way around something like that. And then we're going to poke it down into the groove when we're done. Like that. Then you can just take, a screwdriver or anything that's flat bladed and just push it down in like that. And once you've got it good and started like that, I think you can see there, you can just use a muffler flange, force it down in the rest of the way. And that's really all there is to it. If you ever need to remove it, you just take a small screwdriver or a pick, dig down in there at the joint, which is right there, hook it and just peel it right out. And you can do that years later and it'll be fine. And that works really well as a replacement seal for the asbestos string. Again, I wouldn't smear it in there wet, because if you ever got to get it out later, you're going to be spending half an hour pulling and digging all that cured silicone out. But by using something like this, making a string out of a piece of RTV, high temperature RTV, you can come up with a decent alternative. Well, that's it for this video, folks. Any thoughts, questions, issues, drop me a note. Otherwise, as usual, thanks for watching.